At this next piece of breaking news, where we are learning of that exact moment when the Iranian missile has hit Ashdod. This is a visual that we are putting out from Israel, where a ballistic missile has exactly hit the area in Israel. This is, remember, how Iran has been hitting Israel with ballistic missiles. Things really have changed when it is about the military might that Iran also. In fact, there you see on your screens, this is the exact moment where that missile has hit. All of it caught on camera by people who possibly were driving this car, is how they have managed to capture this exact moment when the missile hits Ashdod. This is where the strike really happened by Iran in Israel. And there you see the massive explosion right next to a highway there, as Israel has hit 6 Iran bases as a counter. We are seeing that exact moment of an Iranian missile hitting Israel. My colleague Akanksha has all the details. Yes, Akanksha, we're just putting out those visuals for our viewers of that massive strike there. Seem to have lost that link with Akanksha, but the visuals really are enough to tell you the story that we are in fact picking up from Israel. This is Ashdod. This is where the strike really has happened. The exact moment of when that missile hit the ground and that explosion that you see, all dust, smoke and fire. And right there were people driving through that freeway, and they managed to capture that missile strike right when it hit the ground. Akanksha is back with us on the broadcast. Akanksha, just putting out these visuals of that massive strike by Iran.
Absolutely. And if you see, Ashdod is near the Israeli electric company in the south. It's going to lead to a massive power disruption in several towns. And this is, in fact, Iran's attack on the power grid as well. There's been another strike on Ashkelon, which is south of Tel Aviv, again, quite close to the capital. They've also, as far as Safat and Bisan in the north. Now, Israeli media is describing it as the longest alarm sequence to date. Sirens blaring 35 minutes across the country. So this is in itself a direct indication of how there's been a clear-cut escalation. This conflict is only going up as far as the escalatory ladder is concerned. And all of these attacks, the missiles that both the countries are trading, the IDF is continuing with their attacks. Tel Aviv and Haifa, central Israel, has been the target so far. But if you can see, these latest attacks now on Israel's Ashdod, which will lead to power disruption, goes on to talk about how civilian infrastructure is also being targeted at the same time, public infrastructure, how this will impact Israel's power grid. So Iran is responding, and is responding very sharply to paralyze Israel. At the same time, the question now is arising is how much is left of Iran's missile arsenal? For how long can they prolong this conflict? Israel, as we know, is getting direct support from the United States. But as of now, there's a clear-cut, sharp escalation. As I highlighted, 35 minutes across the country, the alarms have, in fact, the sirens were blaring, which so far was not the case. And this is also going to lead to several civilian casualties. We await the latest death toll out of these latest attacks.
So 35 minutes the siren went off. It did not stop for good half an hour, like Akanksha is mentioning. This is a massive strike. Remember, we have been talking about whether or not the US strikes on the nuclear facilities in Iran is going to be acting as a deterrence, but clearly not. Even after Israel really struck 6 of the Iran bases, we see this massive strike there in Israel. This is going to lead to a lot of tragedy, a lot of, in fact, casualties. Akanksha is just putting out where this has happened. Akanksha, in fact, speaking about the exact area where this has been accidentally shot from, looks like a freeway. So that's how close civilians really were from this area where, which has been hit because of the Iranian missile.
Medics are already responding to reports of this entire ballistic missile in Ashdod, and that is what we can tell you. This has going. If medics are now scrambling to support the nearby communities, is only indicating the kind of impact it's going to have on civilian population. Fresh sirens are also sounding in northern Israel. Ashdod is in southern Israel, and if new sirens are being sounded, we've already seen the impact on Tel Aviv and central Israel. That not being gripped by this attack coming from Iran, Griha, and a fresh salvo of missiles after missiles are being launched from Iran. What I can share right now in information coming in from the IDF Home Front Command is that civilians have been asked to not leave their shelters.
Okay.
And the medics are currently responding to reports of this entire ballistic missile impact in southern Israel, that is Ashdod. This is a very crucial area as it also has a power infrastructure. How significant it is in terms of the entire power grid is something we'll have to ascertain. But Iran's strategy is very clear. They are going to target public infrastructure, which could in fact now also be including the power grid in Israel. And the situation remains extremely fragile as missiles after missiles are continuing to rain in from Iran. Blasts have been heard. And what we can tell you is that most of Israel is currently grappling as Iran is not just launching missiles, even drones. Soon, this entire escalation, as
Akansha,
we all know.
We have been mentioning how this is a ballistic missile strike by Iran. And how deadly is this really, and how much of the bunkers will maintain the safety of the people around?
Look, Iran's state television has already labeled this as part of an operation, and they are calling this Operation True Promise 3. Haifa and Tel Aviv have been among the intended targets, and there's been damage that is being reported, but how much of civilian casualties are we looking at is something that we await confirmation on. Israel's defense systems have reported several of these missiles, have in fact intercepted several of these missiles, particularly over northern and central areas, Griha. Residents have been, of course, urged to seek shelter, but since these trading of missiles has been happening nearly 10 days now, and how much can the Iron Dome do? There have been reports indicating that the defense capabilities of the Iron Dome are also getting impacted. So there is now concern for how long can Israel sustain this conflict? How is Iran going? Is this now part of Iran's response, which has already begun in what they are calling True Promise 3? And is that the name that they've given their operation on the Iranian state television?
Okay.
So is True Promise 3 going to prolong further? Is this now just going to be about raining missiles and launching drones? Or is this going to also include attacking U.S. military bases across 19 locations in all of Middle East? It's something we'll have to see. But clearly there's an escalation, as we said, that for the first time Israel has sounded its sirens for 35 minutes.
Right, absolutely, Akanksha. Thank you so much. And that, of course, is the big question of whether or not those military bases of the United States of America might just be the next target by...
Network 18 is now the clear leader in digital media with 55% more users on native platforms and social media than Times Internet. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the times.